and welcome to Let's Talk Personal. I am your host, Frances Reimers. Thank you for joining us. We took a little bit of a break last week, so we're happy to be right back with you. And I'm very happy to report that the studio is not as hot as the seventh circle of hell. We are actually able to sit here comfortably today. Thank goodness. I have a couple of shout outs I want to give before we get into today's show. First of all, happy Cheyenne Day to all of my friends and family back home in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I'm sure none of you are watching right now because you're out at the bars enjoying yourselves. So enjoy Cheyenne Day. I wish I was there with you.
Go Cowboys.
That's right. Go Cowboys. Absolutely. And happy 27th anniversary to the Americans Disability Act. I hope I got that right, the ADA. And thanks to one of my sponsors, the Columbia Lighthouse for the Blind. I'm so privileged to be a part of you and all the great work that you do to help people who are blind or visually impaired live independent lives. We hope that you join the conversation. Please do for today's show and forever and ever. Amen. Moving forward. You can reach us on Twitter at LTP Brand Radio or on Instagram at Let's Talk Personal. If you would like to talk personally to me, you can do so on Twitter at Your Firestarter or on Instagram at Firestarter CEO. Now that is all out of the way,
you are a great follow too. I just want to add.
Thank you.
You're a great follow.
I thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, flattery will get you. It really will get you everywhere. I want to introduce my guest. He is not only the Hair Club president, he's also a client, dear friend, client, all-around superstar, Travis Thomas. Thank you for joining me today.
Wow. How do I follow up
that
intro?
I don't know. I really don't know.
From Hair Club to superstar, you covered every base possible right there. That was impressive.
I put a lot into that for you.
That was fantastic.
I'm so super excited. I've literally been Xing off the days on the calendar until this show.
Yeah.
Because as I was saying to Travis off camera before we got started, it's so fun to have somebody who this is what you do for a living.
Yeah.
So no notes. You're just Han Solo
all
without any
heart.
All information here. You're ready to go. So I'm super excited. So for those out there in internet land who may know me but may not know you, Travis is international baller status here in the DC metro area, and currently does appear on radio and TV very frequently, and we'll get to that here in a little second. But what is also probably not known, especially to apparently our large audience that watches in Malaysia.
Shout outs to Malaysia.
That's right. They watch. I appreciate. Is that you are homegrown.
Yeah.
This is home. This area to you is home, and your career could have taken you to Malaysia and back.
It still could, actually, Frances. You never know.
There's still time. But you've decided to stay here. So just tell us a little bit about that and how being in this area and deciding to remain in this area has played a role in your brand.
I mean, honestly, I was born and raised in Southern Maryland, little town called St. Mary's County. And it's like the rural, most country part of Maryland.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, exactly. So most people don't. I'm a country boy at heart. And I'm the only child on top of that.
Oh, my goodness.
So I just grew up in the sticks by myself and just kind of like playing with my G.I. Joes, going outside, playing basketball in the driveway, going in the woods, hanging out with the squirrels and the deer. And I think...
what are you, Snow White?
I know. Well, I just think that background kind of like, in a way, molded me for this industry because I had to entertain myself.
Right.
And in a way, I was like broadcasting and probably didn't even know it.
Right.
So that's how it kind of started for me. And obviously, growing up in a small town, you don't have big media outlets like you do in D.C. or Baltimore.
Right.
So I had to get out of there. So I went to school.
For more than one reason.
Yeah, for more than one reason. But not in a bad way. I love my hometown. I still go back there. I just threw out a first pitch back there.
I saw that.
Crazy.
Did you actually make it across the
plate?
I
did.
Good for you.
I didn't embarrass myself.
Good for you.
So, I got out of there and I went to school in Baltimore for broadcasting, for TV and radio production. And I knew that's what I wanted to do. Like, I grew up playing sports.
Right.
And somewhere along the way, I would say maybe middle school, early high school, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go pro. Like there's guys better than me. They're bigger, faster, stronger. I was a good athlete, but not great.
Right.
And so I was like, I love sports. I'm not shy talking in front of people or a camera or a microphone. I think I'll do broadcasting. And so I chose Towson University in Baltimore, which at the time, it was the best broadcasting school in Maryland.
Right.
I think now University of Maryland's probably like the creme de la creme. But so I went to Towson, did my thing, got internships in the game, and the rest is history.
Right. And as you were coming up in the industry, was brand even in your mind? Were you thinking about who it was that you were trying to mold yourself into, or was how you got to where you are kind of a series of happy accidents?
You know, this answer is going to trip you out because I still am not really sure how the branding thing works, which is why I've teamed up with the best in the business.
What?
You know, honestly, I don't know. It's probably going to sound a little corny, but I consider myself an artist in a lot of ways because I'm versatile and I don't like being put inside of a box and marginalized and pigeonholed.
Right.
So when I came in the game and I got my break, it was as a producer.
Right.
So I was writing highlights. I learned how to edit, do all that stuff behind the scenes.
Right.
And I was like, man, I like doing this, but I think I can do in front of the camera too.
Right.
Never really got my shot, got my first shot at radio,
Right.
crushed that, and that led to TV.
Right.
And so now I produce, I do radio, I do TV, on camera, behind the scenes, the whole nine. I write, I edit. So branding for me never really came into my mind until later in my career where I'm at now, where I actually want to brand that versatility.
Right.
And I just want to be considered a creator and an artist.
And did you ever think that having that producer background, rather than going straight to the microphone, you had the behind the scenes, has that been to your advantage?
I don't know. I never thought that way. I just thought about creating.
Right.
I mean, I guess now in hindsight, yes.
Right.
But for me, I'm a very passionate person.
Right.
And so I was just happy to have an opportunity to be in sports, to be in TV and radio. And that's all I cared about.
Right.
So I think to answer your question, if I had started on camera, maybe I wouldn't value production in the same way that I do now.
Right.
But I started in production and then worked my way in front of the camera, in front of the mic.
Right.
So I just never really thought that way. I think now in hindsight, yes, definitely. Like, because as a producer, you see so many things that when you get your opportunity to be in front of the camera or the mic, you know what not to do.
Right.
And you know what works and you know what doesn't because you've created it.
Right. And in your journey along the way, obviously, you are not the only Black male sportscaster in the DC metro and Baltimore area. As you've gone in your journey and gone on job interviews and have sat in front of people, how are you differentiating yourself from the pack?
I mean,
I'm going to ask you what kind of tree you are next. That's the next question.
You know, for me, it's not so much the race thing, to be honest with you. It's just, I think being your authentic self, whatever color you are or sexuality or religion or whatever, is going to be most valuable to you.
Right.
I mean, obviously in DC, there are, it's Mount Rushmore, particularly of Black on camera people. Jim Vance, who we just lost, Donnie Simpson. I mean, the list goes on and on. Tony Perkins, one of your clients. Shout outs to him. So, you know, for me, I never wanted to be like those guys, even though they inspired me. I just want to be myself. And I think as your career plays out, like those guys I named who were being themselves, that's how you build a legacy.
Right.
And so in the end, there'll never really be another Jim Vance or Donnie Simpson or Tony Perkins.
No.
I hope to one day, you know, somebody says there will never be another Travis Thomas.
Well, I hope so too, because then you'll still be paying my bills. So I hope for that as well.
Well, don't hope. Help me get there.
I mean,
help
I'm
me
doing my
help
job.
you.
Help me help you. I'm trying. Oh my gosh, sorry.
Take your time now.
Oh my
Get
God,
yourself a little
I
swig.
choked on my own spit there for a second. And so you're doing your thing, and you're surrounded. You know, when you're there at Monumental or CSN or in any of the places. First of all, name Tell people everywhere where they
Oh
can
my
currently find you,
gosh.
because the list is a
crazy.
little ridiculous.
It's actually growing a little bit too. I have some breaking news for you.
Oh.
Yeah, 106.7 The Fan
Yes.
radio here in town.
Yep.
CSN Mid-Atlantic, Monumental Sports and Entertainment.
Yep.
And 105.7 The Fan also in Baltimore.
Look at
So
that.
It's 4.
I mean,
Yeah, it's crazy.
are you driving up to Baltimore?
Yeah, so that's kind of the breaking news. I actually started there.
Right.
When I was in Baltimore, and I've just always had a great relationship with them.
Right.
And then eventually I moved here and lived here and got the gig at 106.7.
Right.
But my relationships are still there. And we've been talking about me hosting the post-game show for Terps basketball this upcoming season.
Okay.
So that could be another ring in the fire.
I mean, good night.
Yeah.
That's a lot to have going in the fire,
It's all good.
but you know
got to
what?
work to get where you want to get, right?
Well,
you know about that.
Don't I know about it?
You know about that.
I mean, every day is the hustle.
That's it.
If people ask all the time, they're like, you have your job, you have your clients that you manage, you have this radio show, you have this thing that I'm trying to put together in September, which will be announced soon. How do you do it? And I'm like, you just do it.
You just got to go.
Yeah. You don't talk about it, you just get it done.
Yep.
And you figure it out. And the same, you and I are very, kindred souls in that you just got to do what you got to do
No
to
doubt.
get to the other side.
No question.
But don't you think a little bit of that, because there's faux grinders
Yeah.
and then there's real grinders.
Yeah.
And the faux grinders are the people who put stuff on on Instagram saying they're grinding. And then there's the people who are too busy to do that and they're just grinding.
Yeah.
Don't you think that your grind is a little bit part of your brand?
I don't know. I honestly, I don't see any. How do I say this? There's no glamour to my work ethic. Like
Yeah.
I to be honest with you, if I could accomplish what I want to accomplish working less and working
Yes.
smarter,
Yes.
I'd do that.
Yes.
I just don't. I haven't cracked that Da Vinci Code yet.
Right.
So for me, it's like I just keep working.
Right.
People that stunt on social media and want to portray a certain
Yes.
thing, that's corny to me. That's not really who I am.
Right.
So I just don't pay that any mind. Like,
Right.
and even for me, honestly, and we've talked about this.
Yeah.
When I post stuff on social media of my work, it's
Yeah.
to promote something I have that I want people to take.
To be part of.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's not like a show-offy thing. Like,
Right.
None of my posts are like, "Hey, on radio today, look at me." It's like, "Yo, listen to my show." You know
Okay,
what
well,
I'm
I do post, "Hey, I'm on radio today. Look at me."
yeah, to get listeners though.
Yeah, I have to.
You know? You could shut the internet down if you wanted to, but that's another show for another time. But
It's a
if
family
you
show.
wanted
It's a family
to,
show. It's a
you
family
could
show.
break the internet. I just
don't-
want to say that.
I don't think so. I think Kim Kardashian will always have me beat in that respect. My ass is not silicone. My ass is my real ass.
Different
So
strokes for different
That's
folks.
true. Fact. Hashtag fact.
Shout outs to all the natural asses out there.
There we go.
I appreciate-
That's nice.
I appreciate
That's
y'all.
nice. That's real nice.
Appreciate y'all.
It's real nice. It's a family show, Travis. But you have bigger things going on,
Yeah.
and I want to talk about those. And we're going to do that right after the break. We're going to take a little break here, and we're going to be right back. And we're going to be talking about the Travis Thomas experience.
Uh-oh.
So hold tight, and we'll be right back. Hi, and welcome back. I am with Travis Thomas. If you'd like to join the conversation with us, you can do so on Twitter at LTP Brand Radio or on Instagram at Let's Talk Personal. Please leave your messages, share your pictures, whatever you'd like to do. I love hearing back from you. And believe it or not, I actually do get some emails offline about things that people like and see and hear and want more information about, so please keep them coming. I really appreciate it. But before the break, we were talking about Travis's brand and all the various million trillion hats that you wear. But there is one hat that particularly I am very excited about and interested in. And something that the viewers at home might not know a lot about, it's the Travis Thomas experience.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what this is.
Well, we're still
What is
trying
the
to
experience?
we're still trying to figure that out. Exactly what
I
it
wrote
is.
it up for
no,
you.
you did. You did a great job. Well, first I'll just tell the origin story of the name.
Please.
It was my first show in this market. I was on Baltimore radio for a long time,
Right.
Sports Talk Radio 105.7, The Fan. And I used to call my show the Travis Thomas Show. Generic, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And so got the opportunity to come to D.C. and at 106.7 The Fan, did my very first show, and a caller called in towards the end of my show, and he just went on and on about how he was excited to hear a new voice. And he was just like, your show's different, man. Like, you talk about different stuff. Your energy's crazy. He was like, it's not a show. It's like, I don't even know the word. Like, it's an experience, bro. Thanks for the call, man. Hung up.
Thank you for taking up the airwaves.
And then on my drive home, I was like, yo, that was deep. Travis Thomas experience. I'm a huge Jimi Hendrix fan.
Right.
Favorite artist ever. And the Jimi Hendrix experience
Yes.
is his thing. So
Yep.
I was like, you know what? As an ode to him and that caller, whoever you are, thank you if you're watching. Shout outs to you. I'll just run with that. So really now I've hired the best in the business, and I'm trying to really just turn that into something bigger than all my 20,000 jobs I have going, and just wrap it all into one and make it more about, it's obviously sports, which is to
Yep.
my core,
Yep.
but also fitness, how I take care of myself, lifestyle, some of the things I'm doing in my personal life, for people out there who really follow me and have supported me from the beginning, and also new people who are just curious, who's this crazy guy I
Right.
hear on radio or
Right.
see on TV.
Right.
So it's called TravisThomasExperience.com, and it's just exclusively me. And it's very raw, and it's cool.
And so, we're going to be talking about sports. We're going to be talking about fitness.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about DC lifestyle. And one of the pieces in there that is very personal and very upcoming for you, it's coming whether you're ready for it or not, is fatherhood.
Yeah.
This is happening.
Yeah, I'm like 3 weeks away right now.
I would
crazy.
literally be not okay.
I'm okay.
I'm not good with these kinds of things that you can't undo.
It's
at
a
your will.
blessing. It's a blessing. For me, honestly, the dad side of it is I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like God blessed me with the ability to just feel natural. And I feel like I'm going to be able to teach my son,
Right.
who is a boy,
Yay!
how to be a gentleman,
Right.
and how to, right from wrong,
Right.
and all that good stuff. I have no fear about that.
Right.
It's more the man side of me. It's like the primal side of me as a provider,
Right. Sure.
as a husband, a father. I never feel like I'm doing enough, and I feel like I could be doing more to support my family,
Right.
even though I have 20,000
Yeah,
jobs.
I'm like, really? I don't think there's I don't think there's any room more for that.
There's definitely more. There's 24 hours in a day, so
That's
I'm gonna
true.
figure it out. But
And
no, as far as being like a father, I'm ready to go. I'm like Mufasa over here. I'm ready to just hold him up. I'm ready for that.
So Dad brand, thanks to celebrities like Jim Gaffigan and
Yeah.
other things like that, the Dad brand is kind of the hot thing right now.
That's a brand.
It's a thing.
That's
this is a real
crazy.
thing. Google it.
I ain't getting dad bod though. I'll tell you that right now.
So
That's
here,
not gonna happen.
And you and I, we've talked about this. Like
Yeah.
the Dad brand is a thing, but when people typically think of the dad brand, they think of someone who looks like Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah, I know.
And most of the fathers that I know that are our age
Yeah.
don't look like Jim Gaffigan at all. They're in
Right.
shape, they take care of themselves, they
Yep.
eat right,
Yep.
they live exciting lives.
Mm-hmm.
So how is dad, Travis, going to fit into the Travis Thomas experience?
I mean, honestly, I don't fit anything into anything. I'm just myself. And
Right.
so like being healthy and being the best version of myself, it's who I am.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not about making anything fit. I mean, really, my son's going to grow up watching his dad make sure he's on point and he
Right.
stays sexy for his mom. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to watch his dad's work ethic, and he's going to watch his dad just do what I've always done.
Are we
And,
going to
you know,
incorporate baby into content for the Travis Thomas experience?
You know, not right away.
Right.
I know a lot of people do that, and that's cool. I'm not knocking it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna wait until he's old enough to kind of have a personality and feel him out.
Right.
If he takes to what I'm doing and he's interested in it and he wants to be involved, I'll
Right.
bring him in.
Right.
And really, he'll be the star. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
But I'm not gonna force that.
Right.
Honestly, sometimes sons, I can't speak for ladies, but for boys, sometimes you take to what your dad does.
Right.
Sometimes you don't. My father was very mechanical, good with his hands. I never was into that. And kudos to him, he never forced that on me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was always into sports. He wasn't really.
Right. Yeah.
But he let me go and run and do that.
Right.
So I kind of like grew up with that
Right.
type of framework. So I'm going to do the same thing with my son. If he takes after what I want to do, I'll bring him in.
Right.
But he might want to do the opposite. He might be quiet
Right.
and like to read books. I don't like either one of them things. So, you know, it just depends on his personality.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that's a smart way to do it, and because you don't want to force it, because then it's
Right.
awkward, and then it doesn't make for good content.
Exactly.
So we definitely don't want to do that.
But if he's interested,
if
he's going to need a
interested,
brand manager.
If he's interested, you know I'm going to exploit
Yeah.
it for all that it's
For
worth.
cheesy.
I mean, you know, how can I not? Everyone loves cute kids. It's an instant seller. So the Travis Thomas experience actually already exists.
It
It's TravisThomasExperience.com, correct?
Correct.
And this Saturday is
Yeah.
a new show, right?
Yeah.
A new recording.
Another show. Yep.
And what's on tap for this Saturday?
You're on tap for
Yes!
this Saturday.
That was a softball.
This is a big weekend too, and just so you know, training camp starts
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yes.
So it's a big weekend in sports
It
talk
is.
radio.
It is.
So this
It's
is a
a
good
big
time,
weekend.
and that's some of the things I want to talk to you about on the show.
Okay.
It's just with these athletes and their brand and what they should be mindful of. I'm definitely going to ask you about Colin Kaepernick.
I knew we were going to go
We'll-
there.
We'll definitely go there. So it'll be riveting radio. Check out the Travis Thomas Experience, 106.7 The Fan, this weekend, 12 to 3. Yours truly on the show. And it's always a good time. I'm on every weekend, so definitely check that out.
And you get to see his bright, shining face
And head.
In the recording. On Saturday, you will only hear my voice. You don't get to see me, but you will see me eventually on
doubt.
the show at some point. Just not.
We'll get
this.
you on the TV side, too.
Yeah. I mean, we gotta. The TV loves me, right?
It's true.
Right.
The camera
right?
loves you. How can it not?
I mean,
Look at this.
let's stop.
I told her she looked like a summer breeze today. True
I
story.
know. I told him I look like Chiquita Banana. so we're very different. I don't. So this past weekend, I spent the weekend up in Brooklyn, or Queens, or Long Island City. I don't know.
You better get that right. They don't play
It's
that
not.
up there.
It's not Manhattan. It's
gotta get
right
your
outside
boroughs
Manhattan. I
together.
got very nervous as the cab left Manhattan. But when I got dressed today, I felt very like New Yorky and inspired. It's
Yeah.
very bangly earrings and very Jenny from the Block.
I was thinking Carrie Bradshaw, but
Well,
either way,
that too. I'll take
you're good
that too.
money.
I'll
Either
take
way,
it too.
Can't go
I'll
wrong.
take it too. These are all fantastic brands that I will mooch off of. But what I eventually was getting to is I've done 2 radio interviews this week, and on both interviews, speaking of Colin, Kaepernick, both radio interviews have
Yeah.
been like, let's talk about him.
Yeah.
And people really are baffled by this. And not talking the sports side, let's, because this is my show, we'll save the sports side for your show. Is people are very confused about his brand. I am not confused by his brand. I think what he's doing is very purposeful and strategic. I don't think that he is losing any sleep over the fact that he is not on a team. And I am certain that there are things going on in the background that we don't yet know of, that he will be just fine. A lot of people are like, woe is him, and that, he did himself in by taking a knee. There are guys in the NFL who have done far worse things than taking a knee during the national anthem, who are currently on NFL rosters as we speak.
Yep.
I think that just like we saw with the Kirk Cousins situation, there's two sides to every story.
Yeah.
And I personally have not seen him get on TV being like, some team pick me up, team pick me up. So, I mean, we'll see this develop as we will, but I don't really think his brand is all that damaged. I don't think so. I think behind the scenes that there are bigger things at play, and we don't know if he's crying for Argentina because he's not playing football right now.
I think then we're talking two different brands, because the football player brand is definitely damaged. Because I just think you look at the owners in that league in particular, really of all sports leagues, it's not a lot of diversity there.
No.
And so, you're talking about guys that take kneeling during the national anthem very serious.
Yes.
Not that you should or shouldn't.
Right.
But, it certainly looks like he's being blackballed from where I sit. Now, if you're talking about him, the activist as a brand,
yes,
probably
solid.
couldn't be any better.
Solid.
So I think Colin has to figure out what he wants to do. And right now, to me, it looks like activism. So his brand is strong and alive and well in that case.
And that's why I say that there's two sides to every story. You don't know if sure, I'm sure he probably does want to suit up and play football. But if he's sitting in negotiations and he's like, this is, activism is now my brand.
Yep.
And teams are like, well, no thanks, then he might be okay with that.
For sure.
You don't know personally how things have shifted. And so that's why when people ask me about that, I'm like, don't cry for Argentina for him. First of all, he's got plenty of money.
Yeah.
Second of all, you don't know. Maybe this is a purposeful direction.
Yeah.
And so until he comes forward and says something, I think TBD.
Yeah, he puts his money where his mouth is too. He donates a lot
Absolutely.
of money and time to different organizations that fits his activism brand.
Right.
So.
But speaking of sports and players and brand and reputation revitalization, Mike Vick.
Yep.
I mean, seeing him on the sidelines at Chiefs training camp, to me, this is someone who has truly gone to the highest high, the lowest low, and has slowly made his way back again. This is someone whose brand most people would not bounce back from something of this magnitude.
Right.
It's not like he got drunk and beat up some guy in a bar. He
Right.
was dealing with animals and fighting and violence at a very large scale. Did his time, whatever, and now is back. And now he's right back on the sidelines as a coach. What do you think about the progression of his brand? And what do you think that has to say about our ability to forgive and move on in the profession and outside of it?
Yeah, I mean, our ability to forgive and move on is always there. I think America's really just built on that. Second chances and or third chances in a lot of cases.
16 chances.
Yeah. But as far as Mike, I think it just shows his character, honestly, and I think it shows he was contrite in his apology and he served his time, as you said. So I think really it just shows he was authentic about, feeling terrible about what he did, because he's really self-rehabilitated himself.
Right.
And to be honest, I think he'll make a great coach because as you said, he had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. I mean, the best people to teach those type of things are people who've actually walked that walk. So I think that just makes him a more valuable coach. And ironically, as a player, the knock on him was work ethic. He didn't put enough time in the classroom, and he was just all natural ability and his natural gifts, and he got by on that.
Right.
And so, again, now that he's in a coaching position, he can spot a guy like he was as a player and be able to bring him to the other side and to become more studious of the game. And also, he could spot a guy who maybe has all the tools as an athlete, but is going down the wrong path personally.
Right.
And he can bring that guy over to the righteous path. So, shout outs to Vic. I think he'll be a fantastic coach. I wouldn't be surprised if down the line he's a head coach.
Interesting.
At some point.
In the NFL or collegiate?
Doesn't matter, either one. I mean, wherever he gets the opportunity.
Right.
He would take. It'd be cool to see him go back to Virginia Tech, though, one day.
Yeah, they're pretty conservative down there, though.
But you got
But
to
he's
remember,
a god. He's a god down there.
The guy.
He is a god down there.
Yeah.
But their donor base, I think, would not,
I don't know. Well, that would be so far down the line.
Yeah.
That by that time,
Most of the people are dead.
that or senile, perhaps, and just who? What? Yeah, write the check, Betty. I need some more peas.
So you know what? Speaking of Virginia Tech, I guest lecture there for their communications department and
Blacksburg.
down in Blacksburg. Yes, I make the trek 4 hours.
It's no joke.
It is no joke. I cannot. God bless you, Virginia Tech, and I appreciate the opportunity. I really do, but I cannot sit through a football game of theirs. I cannot. Like the key play, Hokies, and don't tweet at me.
You don't like the entrance when they come out the
No,
Enter Sandman? That's awesome.
No, I
Oh,
hate
man.
all of it.
I think it's awesome.
I am so thankful the University of Wyoming does not play Virginia Tech because even though they are 4 hours away, if UW came out to Blacksburg, I would not attend. I would not attend that game. I would absolutely. I cannot stand it. They wave their little keys and they have their little lunch boxes. I can't.
I love Hokie football.
I can't.
I just I'm not the biggest Blacksburg fan you'll ever meet. But I do like I mean, honestly, their football program has been great to me. I've done a few stories and they've always watched out for me. And I got a lot of friends who are Hokies, so
I have a lot of
Shout
friends
out.
who are Hokies too. Probably would not be my
the
friend
face.
in the face. They'll probably not be my friend anymore, but whatever. Speaking of athletes in the branding world, staying on this topic, Aaron Rodgers, it came out, probably 2-3 weeks ago now, 4 weeks ago maybe, that he has signed on with CAA to have them actually help him with his brand and help him get more endorsement opportunities. And what do you make of high level marquee players like someone like Aaron Rodgers, who already has lucrative endorsement deals, who is already at kind of pretty much at the top of his game, taking active steps to work with an agency that ain't cheap to help them with their brand? What does that signify to you?
takes money to make money, right?
Word. That's what I say to people. They don't believe me.
I mean, honestly, I think it's smart for his personal brand. I think it does hurt him as a football player, though.
How so?
The knock on Rodgers is he sort of alienates himself from teammates, and he's highly intelligent.
Well, he doesn't talk to his family.
Well, there you go. He's highly intelligent, as most quarterbacks are.
Right.
But quarterbacks, although highly intelligent, you look at a guy like Peyton Manning, who's a genius.
The best.
But he does have this all shucks, I'm one of the guys quality about him.
Yes.
And Brett
He's
Favre,
very much the general. He's a general.
Of course. Brett Favre was the same way. The list goes on and on.
Right.
Really, I think a lot of your great John Elway quarterbacks have that trait. Aaron Rodgers is actually just physically gifted.
Right.
It may not get any better. I mean, he could be the greatest of all time. Physical gifts, just playing the position, pure thrower, all that.
Right.
But he's sort of alienated himself from teammates and family. He's so intelligent. He almost belittles people, I think, without maybe trying to do it. But he's just like that.
Interesting.
And so some of me thinks signing with CAA is big, obviously, and it will get him more discount double check type commercials, which is great for his pockets
Right.
and his brand.
Right.
But I think it hurts him in the locker room ultimately because guys don't need to see more of that. They need more of him to go bowling with teammates or to go to a teammate's kid's birthday party and hang out with the guys or whatever it is. And I
Right.
don't think he does enough of that.
But isn't there always a guy or a couple of guys on a team that just they're not part of the team off
Of
the
course,
field?
but Francis, that's the quarterback.
I know.
I mean, you could look if you're a running back or a receiver or a safety or linebacker. Who gives a rip what you do? You know,
Right.
you don't have to hang out with people. Just run through a wall when I need you to on Sunday.
Right.
But as a quarterback, I mean, you have to galvanize guys.
Right.
Your teammates have to believe in you. They have to run through that wall for you.
Right.
And so if you kind of alienate yourself, look, we got a guy here in this town that alienated himself and it got him run up out of here in
Right.
RG3.
Yeah.
So you can never let your ego or whatever it is get so big at that position
Right.
that you alienate yourself.
Right. And that's a key fact. And I think a lot of what's going to be, obviously, I don't know the inside deal of what's going on with CAA, but I think, you can't help somebody grow a personality.
Yeah.
So it'll be very interesting to see what kind of strategic content CAA is able to put together for them and what kind of relationships they build. Because, a lot of people are like, well, I want to be Carmelo Anthony and all the insane endorsement deals that they have. Well, Carmelo Anthony, that's not something that's manufactured.
Right.
People wanted his brand because he built this brand and he's likable on the court, off the court. People like him. So it'll be interesting to see what CAA comes up with.
I hit a
for him.
game-winning shot on Carmelo Anthony. I just
What?
want to throw that out there.
Oh my God.
Quick story.
Yes, please.
This was, I don't know, mid-2000s, and it was around the Olympics time.
Okay.
Carmelo's from Baltimore.
Yep.
At the time, I was a student at Towson University, so this is probably like 05.
Okay.
And he was coming to train, getting ready for the Olympics, and he would just play pickup at different places around the city. Mm-hmm. So he came to Towson one day, and I mean, it was hundreds of
sure.
hoopers
I'm
out
sure.
there
Chaos.
waiting to get next.
Yes.
And somehow, some way, game-winning shot came down to it, and Carmelo decided to guard me. Mistake, Melo, first of all. What a horrible decision. Probably the worst of your career.
I'm sure he tosses and turns
Yeah.
about it every night.
And I've never met a shot I didn't like when I was athletic. So 05, I was definitely there. And so I get the ball, and for a split second, I'm like, this is Carmelo Anthony on me. And he's playing defense,
Right,
Francis.
right,
This ain't a game.
Right.
He's
and he's
in.
a little bit bigger than you.
He's a lot bigger than me. And a lot better. But I don't know. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the shot. Because if
I
I
mean, you
make
might
it,
as
this is
well.
a story I could tell on Francis's show one day.
I'm sure you were
This
thinking
was
about that.
before we even
Yeah,
met.
yeah,
And I knew I'd
yeah,
meet you and tell this
yeah,
story.
Yeah. I mean,
And I took the shot. Swish. Melo says to me, good shot, homie.
did he say it just like
He
that?
said it like that. And in fact, before I responded, I was like, man, his voice is deep. It's incredible. He's like the All-State dude.
I would have been like, can you hold on one second? Let me get my phone and repeat
Couldn't-
that into
I
my
had to
phone.
play it cool. I had to
of
because,
course.
you know what I'm saying? Like, as a hooper, I had to show him, hey, man, I got game too. I cried myself to sleep
Yeah.
with tears of joy that night, but he didn't need to know that. Good shot, homie. Thanks, Melo. This is what I said back. I took a pause. It was like a dramatic pause.
Yeah,
I went,
yeah.
thanks, Melo. Did you see the head nod? Thanks, Melo.
That's the lamest thing ever. No, I would tell you, I have met many a celebrity in my time, and I'm usually really good at being somewhat aloof, believe it or not. But there is one instance where I was completely not aloof at all. I completely lost my shit.
Oh, boy.
And made a complete fool of myself, and luckily the person let it go. So I got to meet Champ Bailey recently,
yeah.
just like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was at a conference, like it was at like a professional business conference.
Right,
There's
right.
lots of people there, and he was standing right in front of me. And I was like, okay, I can handle this one of two ways. I can just walk up and be like, hi,
Right.
or I can really make a fool of myself. And I said, okay, let's go with the first scenario
Yeah.
and play it cool. And I was like, play it cool, play it cool, play it cool. And like the 4 steps it took for me to get where I was to him, like brain just like completely stopped working. And I'm like, hi, I'm a huge fan. And I think he took it. I was being much more cool than it sounded like in my head.
Right.
But hours later, we were having adult beverages, and I had a few adult beverages.
Yeah, as you should.
And it was just verbal diarrhea.
Yeah.
With Champ Bailey.
Wow.
And he laughed, and he thought it was the funniest thing ever, and he thought that I was funny. And so luckily, apparently, whatever I said was charming enough for him to just let it go.
That's cool.
But I'm pretty sure that if I was on the outside of me looking into this experience, I'd been like, God, you're just hold it together. Okay, we now that you're all thoroughly into how I make a fool of myself in public places, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to get into the fun stuff of social media and brands and other people's brands and talk about them. So take a breather, and we'll be right back with Travis Thomas. Stay tuned. Man. And welcome back to Let's Talk Personal. I'm your host, Frances Reimers. And I would like to give a quick shout out to my dad,
Pops.
who is watching us on the golf course. So thanks, Dad, for streaming us on the golf course. I appreciate that. By the way, Dad, I had a really good golf game not too long ago. I feel ready.
There we go.
I'm tournament ready.
LPGA,
I'm tournament ready.
baby.
I'm tournament ready.
Michelle
I feel
Wee,
good.
get out of the way.
Yeah. No, seriously, like I finally figured out my swing, and now that I have it, it's off to the races. So back to you.
Okay.
Back to you.
Back to
it's
me.
all about you. We haven't really gotten into social media. Social media is a huge driver of your life, my life, and our businesses and growing. Whose personal brand, because we all watch, we're all voyeurs, right?
Oh, boy.
Whose personal brand is giving you life?
Well, first of all, I want to address the social media time we spend on it. I think I'm an old soul because I feel like I should have been around when like radio was king of the world.
Right.
Or maybe even like black and white TV.
Okay.
Like, I kind of feel like Sammy Davis Jr. sometimes because
Right.
I could give a you know what about social media.
Yeah.
But it's
you really aren't on there as
so-
much as I'd
no,
like
I'm
you
not.
to be.
I know you stay on me for that. But it's so necessary, especially
is.
in my business.
Yes.
So I do it. But I really wish I didn't have to, and I could just create, and you guys could just watch or listen. That would be wonderful.
Well, that's what you pay me for.
As far as people I follow, I follow like inspirational people to me.
Right.
So I actually Diddy is someone I watch a lot.
Yes.
DJ Khaled, another one.
Oh, I love his stuff.
Yeah, I just like
His
I like guys
gardening
in,
videos are epic.
guys in music that
Yes.
are like mogul status, and I don't know, like they kind of inspired me.
Right.
I like following people like that.
Right. And since you're an old crotchety soul, this will
Yeah.
probably be an
Get
easy
off my lawn.
this will be an easy question for you to answer. What social media trend do you wish would stop?
What social media trend do I don't know if it's a trend, but
Okay.
fellas, I want to talk to you for a minute on behalf of the ladies, because ladies are so ladylike, they won't say this. I'll say it for them. Fellas, stop sending ladies dick pics. Stop it.
There it is.
The
That
female
happened.
body
That
is
happened.
beautiful.
That happened.
If they send you pics, God bless you. But our body is disgusting, especially the dick. So stop it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I agree.
No dick pics, no dick vids. Dad on the golf course, cover your ears.
No, he knows.
Stop sending dicks,
knows.
man.
Well,
Stop
he
it,
doesn't.
man.
For clarification, he does not.
I've never in my life, like in my single life, Dad, don't send dick pics.
He does
In my
not.
in my single
He does not.
my single life, like
True.
you know, of course, talking to a young lady, you might
Yeah.
need a little picture to help get you through the day. Never have I ever once sent my dick. Never has she asked for it because it's ugly. It's there for functionality, not for aesthetics. Stop it.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus.
PSA, public service
Oh, my
announcement.
Jesus. I can't breathe.
Stop sending dick
Woo!
pics, man.
It's true.
not cool.
It's true. It's true. My three best girlfriends and I, we are on a text message chain that never ends.
Yeah.
And not too long ago, my dear girlfriend was talking to some dude on Bumble, some dude she has never met, and he sent her a dick pic. And we're like, come on,
Fellas, we got to do better.
do
man.
better. Really, we don't want to see it. Even when we're with you, we don't want to see it.
Yeah.
We really don't.
I've been told I have a beautiful. Listen, I'm just not sending. Just stop it, guys. Let's get back on track.
Ooh. Okay. But that's good to know. If we ever
Yeah.
wanted to know, now
It's
we know.
very yeah.
Taking the focus away from you and your
Yeah,
penis.
yeah.
What celebrity or athlete
Yeah.
is putting out really great non-penis content?
What celebrity or athlete is putting out non-penis
This
content?
is one for the record books. Yeah.
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 You know what? I kind of like what he's a fighter, John Jones, who's had he's been just a train wreck of a personal life. I mean, honestly, he's
And
been
you've enjoyed
suspended.
every second of
no,
it?
No,
Is this
he's
what you're
been
saying?
suspended. He's been arrested. He's had a horrible personal life, but since then he's on the road to rehabilitation. He has a fight coming up this weekend, and he posts a lot of motivational. I'm
Right.
into that stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of motivational things
Yep.
that I think help people who have demons,
Mm-hmm.
and who are trying to, not succumb to them and
Right.
overpower them and do positive. So I like what he's doing, even
Mm-hmm.
though his personal life and his past is awful.
Right.
He's trying, and he's
Right.
trying to right his ship, and I that's inspiring to me as someone who is an angel and does no wrong.
Right.
It still inspires me.
Right. And he's not putting dick pics out there.
That's it.
I mean,
Just-
that's the
if
moral
you
of
don't
the
put
story.
out dick pics, you're one step ahead of the game.
I mean, you really are.
Yeah.
And who is your social media crush?
Oh man, you did that to me, huh?
It was
Other
on
than
the
you,
list.
other than you, right?
Of course. Well, me always.
Yo,
All 500 and whatever people that watch this
there's
show.
this model named Ashley Graham who I mean, I just can't. Aside what she looks like the message she puts out,
Right.
she empowers women. I mean, she's curvaceous. Which can I just say something? I know we don't have much time.
Please. If I
Ladies.
knew we were going to talk about this, I would have. I have so many followers.
Men of color, particularly brothers, we love curves. And I'm here, another PSA.
Yeah.
I'm here on behalf of all the brothers. we embrace. If you got a guy at home or in your life that tells you you're fat or you ain't sexy, get yourself a brother, man. Because I'm telling you something. We're gonna tell you every day you are beautiful. When you say, "Does my butt look big in these jeans?" We're gonna
You
say,
say no.
"Hell yeah!"
And that's just fine.
That's beautiful,
That's
baby.
just fine.
Am
It's not
I
big enough.
fat? P-H-A-T. Yes, baby. We love that. So she's. I'm definitely. I keep my eye on her. I like what she's.
So real quick, she posts pictures. This is interesting because this is strategic because she has people that could fix this.
Mm-hmm.
She posts pictures of full on ass and thigh cellulite, which, as any woman will tell you, we go to great lengths to avoid. But she will full on put it out there.
I mean,
Apparently, that's not slowing your roll at all.
I don't even call stretch marks. I think that's disrespectful. I call them tiger stripes.
Oh my god. Okay.
But no dick pics, for the record. Never sent her
This
one.
is interesting. This is interesting because women go to great. It was not. I can't remember. It was my show or somebody else's show.
Yeah.
But we were talking about airbrushing, and women go to great lengths to remove that stuff. And you're saying don't care.
Well, I'm saying if you want to put that out there, get yourself a brother. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying don't airbrush or Photoshop if that's what you're into. But if you want to put the real you out there and you're curvaceous, get yourself a brother.
Noted and noted, sir. We are completely out of time. I have been Frances Reimers. This has been Travis Thomas.
It's an experience, right?
It's
what
I mean,
just happened?
I mean,
See?
it's an
See?
experience.
It's branding right there.
So tune in next week, Wednesday, 5 o'clock. My guest will be Jen Hecht of the Dating Advisory Board, who is the show right after me.
Yeah,
I'd like to thank
Jen.
my
Shout out to
sponsors.
Jen.
I'd like to thank my sponsors, Co-Create and Columbia Lighthouse for the Blind. Again, if you'd like to join the conversation, please join us on Twitter at LTP Brand Radio or on Instagram at Let's Talk Personal. Thanks again to my very entertaining guest. And don't forget to tune in on Saturday to catch me talking with him about sports and brand. Have a great night. Thank you.